Well, good Friday afternoon, folks, and thanks for dropping by to explore with us the Finesse version 12 agent desktop. This is primarily going to be a session that is demo and screenshots, and it's really just for those folks who are interested in taking a look at Finesse version 12. We will just go over briefly to the Finesse administration screen as well and just sort of show you some relationships between the two. There is already a Finesse administration webinar that has, I think, probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, so that would also be available to you guys for viewing if you are a subscriber, etc. So we're just talking about the operation and functionality of the V12 agent desktop. And I think I said most of you were here for the earlier session. I sort of doubt whether or not we've got an hour's worth of material that, you know, we necessarily will sort of go through. But nonetheless, we're here for an hour and we can answer questions, or you can sort of point me to wherever you want me to go as we step through this. So let's then just get rid of these PowerPoints and go to our Finesse desktop. Now, we've got, by the way, an agent that's been created. We've got a skill group for that agent. We've got a membership, we've got a team and such like. So the Finesse URL for our agents, it's browser-based, of course, and it's simply HTTPS, and it's the fully qualified domain name of the Finesse server. In our case, just finesse.sunsetcc.com, and that will bring up the login screen. Your username is as defined in CCE configuration, and for me, that's just Bruce. My password is my password, and the extension number here is 1001. That's the agent telephone extension number. Some folks tend to get that confused with the peripheral number, which is assigned by the system in order for the system to be able to identify the agent, but that's not what we want. If I were signing in as a mobile agent, then I've got a number of other options to me. One is I can select the mode as being call by call or nailed connection. Depending if I configure it correctly, I could also have an agent choice in there as well. And the dialed number would be the number that the number of my telephone at home or wherever I'm sitting that allows me to connect. In that case, this 1001 would not be the extension number, but would be a CTI port that's been configured for that mobile agent process. We talked about that yesterday, I think, in our mobile agent extension, but we're not interested in that. Today, we're interested in signing in as an agent. And that's always a good start. Okay, I'm not sure what that glitch was, but nonetheless, we've now signed in as Agent Bruce, and this is the desktop that Agent Bruce will see. There are some queue statistics that are associated with his configuration. The fact that he's seeing the test skill group is simply showing that he is a member of that skill group, showing here as ready. This is a real-time, a live data report. And you can tell that it's live data because if I go from ready to not ready, it pretty much updates instantly. So that's a big difference with live data compared to real-time data. Real-time data was clearly updated about only every 15 seconds or so.
The supervisor interface in 12.5 is all live data, correct?
In 12.5.
Yeah, well, in 12 up is all live data because we're on
Yes.
11.5 and it's still the mix of Q stats
Yes.
in the older style. Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Thought so.
And skill groups, also you'll see those skill groups for which you are a member in the skill group side of things. There are some other reports, a My History report, which is provided for the agent. You can see how many calls I've handled or Bruce has handled in the in the last however long. You'll see some recent state history going from ready, not ready, ready, not ready, talking, reserved, etc. And some additional live data reports as well. Now, when an agent sort of first logs in to this screen, more than likely those screens will not come up just auto-magically as they did in that case, but rather you'll have to go through some acceptance of some certificates. I tend to use Firefox as my preferred browser. Internet Explorer is supported, but seems to me to be much easier to go through and accept the certificates and the tabs as they are presented. So we've got our sort of skill groups, and again, live data is being presented, on the basis of the change in agent state. And by the way, if we were looking at the COIC live data reports over there in yet another server, those live data, or that live data status information would be updated almost as quickly. Over here, you've got the ability for desktop chat, not configured in our environment, but if that agent did want to chat, and I think that chat is available certainly to supervisors, team supervisors, but I think in version 12, you might like to check this, is also available between agents. Over here, we can make a new call, and notice here that this is something that's different to earlier versions, that I can make a call from the ready status. In earlier versions, that phone would not be available until I went into the not ready state. So if I come back down here and let me put myself in the not ready, and I'll go to my system here. And make a call. Now, I'm not hearing any, might be hearing some music on hold, and the reason you're hearing music on hold is because Bruce is logged in but not ready. If I make myself ready, then I get the reserved status. Again, the live data shows that. The answer button appears here as a sort of a pop-up. I click answer, then I have voice. Notice that I've got now the call. I have the call control buttons where I can put the call on hold and deliver some information or enter a wrap-up mode. There is a couple of wrap-up codes that I've created. If I go back to the call, I can either hit the direct transfer, which will deliver a call to another agent, or back up into the to a queue if I've connected that as a CTI route point in Call Manager. I have consulting, which is a consultative transfer, which means the called party will answer and we can have a conversation before I hit the transfer button, and then wrap up. Again, if I click the wrap up, this is while the call is going on. I'm now applying that sort of wrap up. And if now when I end the call, what should happen is that I should not have gone into the ready mode. Well, hold on. While that wrap up was there, whether or not I go into the ready mode immediately after sort of clicking that depends, I think, on the agent desk settings. So if I'm sounding a bit vague there, let me explore why. And let me go to and I'll explain what I'm sort of attempting to define for you guys and for myself as well, because I've noticed some curiosities in at least this drop of software. But I may have just had an epiphany when I was running through there. So you're getting some live development stuff going on here. If I go to the demo desk setting, which is what I'm using, if I check the require idle reason require. Sorry, the wrap up on incoming. If I set that to required as opposed to not allowed as it was, we'll come back and look at these figures later and click save. So my desk setting is now requiring some changes to that wrap up mode. So if I now go to my agents, I select Bruce again, and I confirm that he is in fact a member of the demo desk setting. Let's just save that again. I'll go back to Finesse. I will go to the not ready state and sign out. I'll sign back in again. Let me go straight to the ready mode and make another call. And why am I not getting that? Yeah, gotta love these live demos. So there I am. Let me sign out and sign back in again. I'll just verify that phone number just in case that's what the problem was. So my dial number that I'm using should be 3171, so maybe that was the problem. So let me make sure. 31. Yeah. So something has just died on me. Okay, so what you're looking at here, folks, is real-time troubleshooting. So it would seem as though I am getting calls. But for some reason,
Are they not able to go to the VRU?
let me reset that monitor. Well, look, I don't know what happened there. Let me just do one thing. Let me restore that agent desk setting to the way it was, just in case. I mean, that shouldn't be an issue, but let me just change that. Oh, could that be the case, Bruce? Well, there you go. You've just learned, hopefully you've just learned something along with me at the same time. We'll explore that, but let me first answer this call. And I'm going to go into wrap up and select the demo wrap up and click apply. Now when I end the call, okay, notice I go into wrap up mode, okay? Whereas previously, even though the wrap up codes were there, and it seems to me that this might be a feature, which is the kindest way to describe it. I can, cancel the wrap up, I think, or move from wrap up to ready when I've done my thing as an agent. Now, just to sort of explore that process again, over here in the desk setting for this particular agent, we had the wrap up on outgoing as required. That means that that agent would not go ready until such time as I entered that wrap up mode and determined, and did my thing, etc. If I change that to not allowed, so there's now no wrap up mode allowed on outgoing, and I make another call, and I'm starting to get very confused. Okay, let me do this. So I'm going to say that maybe to pick up that agent desk setting, I had to sign out and sign back in again. Well, this is curious behaviour, folks, and you're seeing it live, obviously. What can I say? Let me try and make some sense of this for you. Well, look, I apologise for that, folks. I don't know what's going on there. It seems like that behaviour is intermittent. Let me just sort of step through some of these curiosities then that I've observed. Not that particular one, because that does seem very strange, in that I'm getting calls sometimes and not others. But given that, and here's the thing that I'm observing, that I'm yet to find out whether this is a feature or not, that for me to go, from ready to not ready, I have to select a reason code, demo not ready or team not ready. This is from ready to not ready. The difference between these reason codes, by the way, is simply that this is a global setting, this is a team setting, okay? Now, it's curious to me, let me say, that if I go to the agent desk settings here, and look at the demo desk setting, then I'm not requiring an idle reason or a logout reason. And what it seems to me is that those entries are appearing as almost irrelevant. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that in this chunk of software, that's what I'm seeing. It would seem that the wrap-up or the wrap-up on outgoing did work, at least briefly, because it required that I selected a wrap-up, but then when I did select that, it didn't go back into the ready mode, and it wouldn't go back into the ready mode until the expiration of that timer, or until I sort of forced myself back into the ready mode.
Sorry to interrupt your
auto answer. Let me, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let me see if that at least works. So if my desk setting is now on auto answer, I'm in the ready state. And I got a call but didn't get the auto
Or
answer.
auto answer.
Let's just finish this off though, because the wrap up is now not required. I hit the wrap up mode. I've still got to select something, and that's curious to me. But if I apply it and then end the call, I go back to ready because it's not allowed. Okay, so as an agent, I tried to go into wrap up, but my desk setting didn't let me. So that much I think is working. But let me now
For auto answer, you have to set it up on the device on that DN page.
sign out. And sign in again. Get myself ready. And it would seem as though the auto answer feature is working. So the wrap up is working. As you've seen, the auto answer feature on the agent desktop is working. What is still curious to me, however, is that even though I'm not looking for either any of these reason codes to be enabled for that person simply because they are created, it seems like I have to pick one. I guess what I'm assuming, although I can't vouch for it, I need to research it some more. I guess what I'm assuming is that even though I have to select something, it's not going to be reported, perhaps. Okay, but that's just an assumption on my part. And I guess what I'm saying here is if I go back to here, look at the agent desk setting, and I require logout reason and require an idle reason as well, and click save, then the behavior of the desktop does not appear to be any different. If I go to ready, I make a call, and it's decided okay. So that would have auto answered. So I'm talking, we've seen how the wrap up will be ineffective, if you like, but if I end the call, and now, for instance, I want to go to not ready, I still have to select something. Or I have to select something, but it's just the same. And it's the same over here with the sign out. So those reason codes that I created are here. Now, it used to be that those particular codes, reason codes, for instance, were managed and created from the Finesse administration screen, which is the same URL with the CF-admin extension. But now if you come here, you'll find, and you sort of go on you get a little message that says, go away, this action can be performed from the UCCE administration. I can still assign or view at least team resources, but the action is now performed from CCE administration. So they haven't really taken these out for whatever reason from the Finesse administration screen. that may be a later drop. But if you were used to creating those things in Finesse administration, you're now going to do them over, in Finesse administration, you're now going to do them here in CCE administration. And if I come here for that exercise, and if I look at the desktop settings, you'll find I can do my reason labels. I can simply add reason labels from here. The label type I choose from here, and I then make them either global, which is available to everyone, or team specific, which is available just to a particular team. So, creating them in this sense, we could add another service, let's call it and it needs to be given a unique code, and you will be sort of doing that, and no, there's no way to know whether or not a code has been entered or not, except if you enter one and it's comes back and tells you that it can't use it. So now there is another reason label. I can assign that reason label globally or to a team, as I've just done. If I assign it to a team, then the approach that I need to take is for the team resources here. Actually, I think I'm messed up there. Hold on. Teams. So Team Sunset is the team that we've got in here. Let's edit that. And we can go to Team Resources. And now what should be here is another not ready reason code, which is available for me to assign. Let's give them both as team resources. And so given that Bruce, the agent, is a member of the Sunset team, he sees those reason codes. But the question is still there that I highlighted. Why should I have to see them if I'm not assigning them via the agent desktop? So that's a brief overview. It would have been even more brief if it had all worked smoothly. But there's perhaps ironically, the fact that there's not much to see on the agent desktop is a good thing, because you shouldn't have that much difficulty in assigning and training your agents in how to operate their desktop. One of the things we do say when we're sort of doing that end user training is that your agents should be encouraged to manage their calls from one spot or another, and that spot should be the agent desktop, rather than say answer the phone sometimes from the physical phone, sometimes from the desktop. Okay, let me just make one more call because there's one other thing I want to show you. I'm really at a loss to know why that's is as finicky as it really is, because I should be getting all of those calls. What I just wanted to show you was the call the desktop layout. Okay. There you go, Greg. Just about to go there. On the enterprise. Let me find that for you, actually. Let's discover that. Okay, so thank you for the question. Sorry I couldn't answer it off the top of my head, but that desktop layouts is still in the Finesse administration screen in the same way that you sort of created it before. It looks a little different, I think, to earlier versions in that you don't sort of see, you know, all of the 10 peripheral variables there, but we still get to sort of add rows in the same way that we always did. Same sort of deal here in the sense that we need to give it a name, and then we, you know, define that name in the in our script. So again, it's a bit of a hybrid, right? Phone books, let me see where they are. So I'm creating phone books here as well. So reason codes, no, but phone books and desktop layouts still, phone books and sorry, call variable layouts still here in Finesse administration. If you're going to ask me why it is a sort of a hybrid arrangement, you know, I don't know the answer to that. It's sort of like, and this again is my assessment. You remember when CIC first came out with the reports page, giving the new view, but the sort of OAMP and all that sort of stuff was the older view. And I think it's just an attempt to get something to market, even though they mightn't have written the code for everything. And again, I might be doing Cisco a grave injustice, and I apologise to them if I am. But I don't have the rationale behind, you know, those sorts of hybrid arrangements. Alrighty. Any other questions or issues or things that you would like to see? I know you would like to see a solidly working Finesse desktop, but for some reason that's not happening for me. But hopefully you've gotten some sort of view. If you've never seen it before, it's going to be, you know, pretty interesting. If you have seen sort of version 11.5 and this is now 12, it's not that different. You know, some more interesting stuff, more live data reports and all those sorts of things, as opposed to the earlier services. I don't know. Here is a question for the group. Why, as an agent, am I interested in looking at, you know, the amount of times I've been ready, not ready, reserved, and things like that? Sort of curious to me that that's presented to me, you know, as an agent by default. But maybe that's just me. Maybe there are
That was a really popular feature with CAD.
People out there in contact centers than I would ever be. Okay, well, look, that's really all I've got for you folks, except for sort of questions. And if there is a sort of a navigation that you're not sure of and would like me to sort of run through it on the screen or stumble through it and get there, I'm happy to do that in the time that we've got. Equally, I'm not one to sort of fill out the time simply because that was the allocated time. And if you guys sort of want to drop off, if you have no other questions or issues, then I won't be taking notes. So feel free, given that it's Friday afternoon anyway. So in case you are dropping off, thanks very much for coming by. Keep an eye out for these sessions because they'll only get better as we go through, and particularly with version 12, by the way. As I mentioned, we've got a beta, or it's really an alpha class running next week for a selected audience where we are going to be sort of running through all of this stuff, essentially live, and we'll get a lot of the bugs ironed out at that point, and we'll also be attempting to see, as I say, where those sort of modular webinars might go from here. So keep an eye out for additional ones, and I hope to see you back here for things that interest you. So thanks a lot and have a good weekend.